Hello everyone! So today I'm gonna try something new that I've never done before, which is acrylic pouring. It is basically that you pour a bunch of paint on a canvas and it will spread and create very interesting and beautiful patterns. Well, there is a little more to it than that, but that is the basics. And what place is better to learn something new than Skillshare? I'm not joking, I was planning to make this video and I was researching about it, and then Skillshare just popped up in my email and said, "Hi, we want to sponsor you," and I was like, yes, teach me everything you know about acrylic pouring. Skillshare is an online learning community with over 20,000 tutorials on all kinds of creative topics like photography, animation, painting, hand lettering, and much more. The classes are great to follow since they're broken down into different sections, so it is easy to go back and rewatch a section if you need or want to. So if there is something that you have been wanting to learn, like a new art medium or a new technique, or you just want to deepen your current skills even more, why not do it now? The premium membership starts at $10 a month, but with this special offer you will get 2 months of Skillshare for free. But it is only available for the first 250 people that signs up through the link in the description box below, so be sure to check that out. So what you first want to do is to cover your whole workspace area in plastic, because there will be paint everywhere, trust me. I watched an acrylic pouring tutorial by Poppy Koning and she goes through all the materials and all the different steps very thoroughly. What you will need is acrylic paint, of course. I have some different brands here that are quite inexpensive. I divide the colors that I want to use into plastic cups and I want it to be colorful. To make the paint more liquid, I'm gonna use pouring medium. The one I use is from Liquitex. This is also so that the colors will stay separated and don't mix into a gray mud when I pour the paint on the canvas. It also prevents the paint from cracking when it dries. I highly recommend you to check out Poppy's tutorial for more exact measurements and consistency and stuff. I'm just experimenting here, I know nothing. I put pouring medium into all the cups and I stir it well. Then I'm gonna add some water, and this is just regular tap water. I'm not exactly sure why we need a water, but maybe to make the paint even more liquid and pourable. You just need a little, but I think I did a little too much, but more about that later. And you really get to exercise your wrist when doing this. You need to stir, stir and stir. Then next I'm gonna add some silicone oil, and this one is from Kreatima, but there are way less expensive alternatives like silicone spray that you can get from the hardware store. I use a pipette to get the oil from the bottles to the cups. The tutorial said 2 to 3 drops, but I got a little too generous with some of the colors, so don't add too much. The silicone will make these little spots, or cells as it's called, to pop up in the paint. The paint will separate and the colors underneath will show through. The more silicone you use, the more and smaller cells you will get. Stir some more and the paint is ready. There are some different ways that you can do this. The technique I will use today is called a dirty pour, which is when you put all the paint in one cup and then you pour it on the canvas all at once. Look how beautiful the paint looks already when it's still in the cup. You can see the cell action going on already. I got the canvas from dollar store, so it is nothing fancy. I covered the wood frame on the back in masking tape just so it won't get covered in paint. And you may have noticed the bottle caps on the table. They will work as legs and get the canvas off the table, so it will be easier to move the canvas around. Then I take my full cup of paint, and boy, I was so worried it would tip over. I put the canvas on top of it and then I flip both the canvas and the cup. And now the moment of truth. Wow, it is so satisfying to see the paint flow all over the canvas. It almost looks like some kind of geode mineral thing, very organic and beautiful. Look at all the colors popping up everywhere. Now afterwards, I know there are some things I could have done differently, but this is my first time ever trying this, so I'm not being very hard on myself. I should have used a little more paint so I didn't have to move it around so much on the canvas. There are so many pretty and colorful, gorgeous patterns that just disappears because I want to get the paint out to the edges. And as I said, I'm not being hard on myself, I'm just analyzing what's happening so I can improve till next time. I think my biggest regret here is using the silver paint. It kind of mudded the colors down a lot. And I also believe, I'm not sure though, but the amount of water I had in the paint may have diluted the pouring medium too much, and the paint is starting to mix into each other and gives this grayish color. So I will try to use less water next time and see how that will work. The paint is spreading very easily anyway, so I don't think a lot of water is necessary. You can see the spots or cells happening, it looks so cool. I use heat to pop the bubbles and bring the cells out. You could use a smaller blowtorch or a heat gun, but I just took what I had at home and used a regular lighter. The gas doesn't last very long though, but it still works. Just make sure to not stay in one spot too long. I am moving it quite fast over the painting. I noticed that unless the canvas lays completely flat, the paint will keep moving. You can't really see it, but when speeding up the footage, you notice that the paint is flowing off to one side quite a lot. Then again, my paint mixture was quite thin. In another tutorial I watched, someone mentioned that you can take a picture of the canvas when you're done and then come back after 10 minutes or so and compare it with a photo, and you will see how much it has changed and to what side the paint is moving, if it's moving. Unfortunately, the paint moved a lot in this piece, so a lot of the brighter colors disappeared. I'm still super happy though that this technique actually worked for me and it looks amazing. Also, if you're worried about wasting paint, this may not be something for you. You could just peel off the paint afterwards when it dried and use for another project. I did scoop up a lot of the paint on the canvas again with a palette knife to cover the sides and some areas and to give some more texture in some spots. And I had enough paint left for another canvas, so I tested again, but this time I didn't use the silver paint at all. In my mind I was imagining this bright and colorful piece. I do realize though that I put a darker purple in the bottom of the cup, which will end up at the top when I flip it, so that is something I will try to keep in mind till next time. So my regret this time is not checking so that the canvas was leveled. The dollar store quality isn't the best perhaps. The paint just poured off one of the sides and caused the cells being stretched out and the colors look muddy. As I said, it is very hard to see because when doing this in real time, the paint doesn't seem to move at all, almost. I do love the colors in this piece though, even though it didn't turn out as colorful as I wanted, but for a first try, I love how this turned out. I will definitely do more acrylic pouring. I want to play around with this technique and different colors. I would love to get this bright and colorful piece that I was going for from the beginning. I have already bought more paint, so if you enjoyed this video and would like to see a part 2 of it, vote up in the poll or leave a like or a comment, whatever you prefer, just let me know. The paintings took a day or two to fully dry, and you can see here how much they've changed. The colors look much duller now since acrylic often dries more matte depending on what brand you're using. What you can do to bring out the vibrancy again is to varnish the paintings. You can also cover them with a thin layer of resin. I think I'm gonna try a high gloss varnish and see how that will work, and I will give you an update if there will be a second part. But there you have them. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you found this technique as satisfying as I did. Don't forget to check out the link in the description box below for 2 months of free Skillshare. Also click on the little bell icon to get notified every time I post new art and videos, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching and keep drawing my happy cats. Bye!